Hello, our most valued student. My name is Confident and welcome to the revision session for grade 9, and this is for you guys who are preparing for your term 2, and this lesson is meant to take you through some of the topics here. So I'm going to have a follow-up videos where I'll be teaching you all the topics you need to know for your term 2. So in term 2, these are the following topics that I expect you to be doing, which is algebraic expressions, algebraic equations, as well as functions and relationships. Alright, so if you want to get a distinction for your final exam, this is the lessons that you must follow up. Now, to make things easier for you, ensure that you subscribe. Turn on that subscription button. Make sure that you turn it on, and then every video that is going to come, you will be notified. This will help you to prepare for your final exam. All right, so let's get this lesson started. Algebraic expressions, and then it says understanding the basics. Let me bring some basics to you so that you can know what to know. Look at this. It says there are three main parts of an algebraic expression. We are talking about the variable, the coefficient, as well as the constant term. Now, to demonstrate the three parts of an algebra, let me give you an example. For example, let's say I've got here 3x squared minus 4x, let's say plus 2. And in this case, I just want to show you now which one is the variable. Now, when you're talking about the variable is the x, the letters. So that is your variable. So the letter represent the what? The variable. All right. And then what about the coefficient? If we want to get the coefficient, it is the number before the variable. For example, look at this number here. You see that 3? So here we say 3 is the coefficient of x squared. So this is the coefficient. All right, and then another coefficient that you can identify, yes, you are right, it is this coefficient, minus 4. So here minus 4 is the coefficient, but it's the coefficient of what? It's the coefficient of x, you see, but 3 is the coefficient of x squared. So the number before the variable, if it's an x, you put x. If it is a square, as you can see, is the coefficient of x squared. And then we have got the constant term, that is the number that does not contain the variable. And in this case, you see, this plus 2, it does not have the letter, so we call that the constant term. All right, so these are the three parts when we're talking about three parts of a variable. Now, just quickly to recap on this again, when we're talking about three parts of a variable, I can give you another example to say negative 4x to the power of 3, and then I say plus 5, and then from here I will say which one is your variable. Sometimes let me not say x here, let me use a different one. Let me say a cubed, 4a cubed. In this case, a is the what? A is the variable, so that's your variable. Variable meaning it changes value, it can take any value. A can be 5, can be 2, can be any value. So the letter is the variable. And then look at this, the coefficient. Now be careful here. When I'm talking about the coefficient, is the number that is attached to the variable or to the letter. In this case, look at this, there is 4, but it's not only 4, it's 4 with the sign. So that negative 4, it's minus 4, is the coefficient, but it's the coefficient of what? Of a cubed. I think that. And then 5, which is positive, in this case plus 5, is the one without the letter. We call that the what? Constant term. I think that. That's the constant. All right. So I think there is an example here that demonstrates that well. Look at this. It says consider the expression. There is the expression that they've given in this. Says how many terms are in this expression. So this is kind of a quick revision from grade 8. How many terms? Look at this. This is the first one, this is the second one, you just count them, third and fourth. So there are 4 terms here. So how many terms here? 1, 2, 3, 4, which is equal to 4 terms. I think that. And then what is the constant term? Now, constant means it does not have the letter. In this case, do you see it? There is minus 7. It doesn't have a what? It doesn't have a variable, or it doesn't have a letter. And then the next one says, state the coefficient of the term in x squared. So let's identify the term in x squared. So x squared has got 2x squared, but they want the coefficient. Now I said the coefficient is the number before. Look at the number before, it's 2. So here for x squared, the coefficient is what? Is 2. What about the coefficient for the term in y squared? Let's go and identify y squared. There it is. But now be careful with y squared. There is 9 and there is minus 9. So now for y, it's very important for you to recognize that it's minus. The negative belong to 9. So it's minus what? 9y squared. So the coefficient is 9 and the sign of 9, which is equal to what? Minus 9. Are you with me? That is very, very important. And then here they're saying, state the coefficient of the term in x. Now pay attention. I want to show you something with x. X is written with what? It contains negative 18xy. Now we want the coefficient of this, and then we say the variable is the letter. Now we are confusing here because there is the letter x and the letter y. But now since I'm focusing on x, this is my focus, anything that is not x is the coefficient. So in this case, if I take out x here, see, whatever I remain with is the coefficient. So what is the coefficient? The coefficient there is minus 18y. Are you seeing that? That's how you can sometimes simple do that. It's the same way if I had wanted to do the same thing with for example, negative 9y squared. The first one, when I said negative 9y squared and they said state the coefficient of y squared, I can just remove y squared. Look what I'm remaining with minus 9, you see. And then the last one says state the coefficient of y. Now again, I go back to the term where is y linked. Y is linked to negative 18xy. So if I say negative 18xy, but now remember my focus is y. That's my, so I need the coefficient of y. So what do? I go to y, I take out y, and there is the coefficient. What is the coefficient? It's negative 18x. In this case, x is no longer the what? The variable, because they said I must focus on y, which is the variable. So you just have to be careful when it comes to that. Alright, and then lastly, they are saying here, determine the value of the expression if x is equal to 2 and y is equal to minus 3. This is a very important part of substitution. For example, we are given 2x squared minus 18xy minus 7. And then here you are told x is equal to 2 and y is equal to negative 3. Now look at this. With these values, so it means where I see x, what do I put? I put 2. And when I see y, which is there is y, I put what? I put minus 3. And then where there is x, what do I put? I put that. So that's they call it substitution. So this is how you write it. You're going to say 2, then where you see x, you now do it like this. You say x squared minus 18. Where you see x, put a bracket now and say x, and you see y, put a bracket and say y. Those are different variables. Minus 7. Then you can now interchange or substitute. We call it substitution. Where there is x, they told us what is x. X is 2. See that? So you put 2 bracket squared minus 18. Remember x, I put 2. And for y, what do I put? I put minus 3 and then minus 7, and then the calculator then at this stage it will give me the answer. Alright, so you can then use your calculator as is. Don't do it in parts, but do it once. So what you do, you take your calculator, you say 2 bracket, and then you put 2, close the bracket, squared. As I say, do it once, minus 18 bracket 2, you open and close it, open another one, but now it's negative 3. It's better to use that negative, not this one. It's still the same, but I prefer that one as a negative. This is minus, but the other one is negative 3, and then it's minus. Now it's minus 7, but as I say, you get the same answer, which is 109. So 109 is the answer that you get. All right, so that is that, guys, as we are getting started with this lesson, and I'm introducing the part of what, as you see here, I'm introducing the part of algebraic expressions. Now let's quickly look at these ones, like and unlike terms. Now let's look at some examples of like terms. If something is like, for example, 2 and 2 or 2 and 4, these are like because these are just numbers. See, they are like terms. Why? They're just numbers. What about if I do this, 2x and 5x? Now look at it. The main thing that makes something like, if I'm saying like terms, you look at the variable, the letter. So if the letter is x and the letter is x, it means it's like terms. For example, to get a scenario of like terms, let's say I've got cows. There are two different guys have got cows. Now let's say the word cows is start with the letter C. Say you have got 5 cows. One guy has got 5 cows and another guy has got 7 cows. So you see that C is for cows, so these are like terms. We're all talking about cows. But now let's say one let's use another animal, dogs, is D. So let's say one has got 5 cows and the neighbor has got 7 dogs. Now the question is, are these like terms? No, we are dealing with cows and you're dealing with dogs. Hence we start saying these are unlike terms. Why? C stands for cows, D stands for dogs, and these are different animals we are talking about. So if I say 5C and 7D, those are 5 cows in this case of the example I use, and 7 dogs. There is nothing that is alike, there is nothing that is similar, so you can't do anything to this. We are going to look at addition and subtraction of this. All right, I can go on and say, if I say for example 3x squared, look, 3x squared, and I say 3x, these are unlike terms. They are unlike these guys. Why? Look at the square. This is power 2, but if you don't see any power here, it's power 1. It means they are different. The fact that one has got a square and the other one does not have a square, in as much as 3 is the same, but these are different, so they are called what? Unlike terms. All right, so sometimes they can give you something like this, to say 3xy, write my x, 3xy, and let's say 5yx. So you ask yourself, are these like terms? The answer is yes. This yx, I can go on and write it as 5, start with x, and then end with y. You see now, it's xy, xy, like terms. Are you with me? But if I do this again, to see how sometimes they play around your mind, if I say 2x squared y and 6x y squared, look at this one, be careful now. Where does the power belong? This squared comes or belongs to x, and this squared, in this case, you see, it belongs to y. These are unlike terms. Why? Because the other square comes from x, the other square comes from y, so these are unlike terms. So just be careful whenever you're dealing with such things. All right, then that's why here it says addition and subtraction of like and unlike terms. Says example, understanding the negative sign importantly. So let's look at this. Let's start with the first one above. I say to you 3 cows. I said one neighbor has got 3 cows, another neighbor, let's say, has got 8 cows. C stands for cows. All right, so if I'm to add, how many cows do I have altogether? You just say 3 plus 8, which is what? You get 11. So now the total number there is 11C, meaning 11 cows. Don't forget the C. C stands for cows. That's how you add these things. If I say I have got a neighbor has got 3 cats, C for cats, and another neighbor has got 2 cats. How many cats altogether? So you say 3 plus 2, which is 5 what? 5 cats. But now we can use the word C for cats, which is 5C. Similarly, I can just say 3x, you see, plus 2x, and then you're going to add, you add 3 plus 2, what do you get? You get 5. 5 what? 5x. Avoid saying 5x squared. That is wrong. Why? Let's go back to our cats. If I say 3 cats, which is 3c, plus 2 cats, which is 2c, you don't say 5 cats squared. You don't do that. You don't say 5 cats squared. Something like that never exists. It's just 5 cats. That's why we call it 5c. You don't have to multiply or put some exponents there. Are you with me? Now, more examples. If I say I have got, for example, 5xy, all right, plus 7xy. So what you have to focus on are the variables. Is it xy this side? Yes. Is this xy this side? Yes. Which means they are the same, like terms. You see, they are like, they belong to the same group. Now I just focus on the numbers. What am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to add 5 plus 7. You can do that with the calculator. It gives you 12. Then the answer there is equal to 12. But what? Maintain your variable, which was x, y. You don't have to do anything strange after that. Okay, so let's look at another example here of like terms. If I say you are given 8 x squared, be careful now, then minus 4x squared, be careful now. Doesn't matter. You need to focus on the variable. You ask yourself, is it x squared on the other side? Yes. Is it x squared? Yes. So it means they are like terms. Now it means you focus on the numbers. So what are the numbers? It's 8, but now there is no plus. It's a minus. So 8 minus 4. That's what you do in the calculator. You take a calculator and then you find out what is 8 minus 4. And the calculator will give you what? It will give you a 4. Then here you're going to say equal to, so 8 minus 4, it's 4. Then you maintain the variable, which was 4x squared. Is it making sense? As I said, you do not have to panic. Now there is another example. If I say practical example, I have got 3 cows and I've got 5 dogs, and then I say add the cows and the dogs. So it will be 3 cows plus 5 dogs. If I say add them together, you can't tell me now that you're gonna add 3 plus 5 and then you get 8. 8 what? What are you gonna have here? Is there an animal called cow dog? You know, cow dog. Have you ever seen such? It doesn't exist. Meaning, if I give you 3 cows plus 5 dogs, you can't do anything to these. They remain as 3 cows plus 5 dogs. You can't do anything. You can't add them. Remember, this is reality. You can't add something that is not related. Similarly, if I say to you 3x plus 5y, you can't do anything to this. The x is different from y. X can refer to different animal, y can refer to a different animal. Now you are adding them, then it will make a strange animal in this case. You understand? X can refer to a different chemical, y can refer to a different chemical. You can't add them together, otherwise you create a bomb. So this is x, that is y. The answer remains as 3x plus 5y. You see that now? So just be careful whenever you're dealing with such. But now look at this now. If I say 2d, which means 2 dogs, a neighbor has got 2 dogs plus 5 cows, that is one neighbor, our neighbor. The second neighbor has got 3 cows and he has got let's say 7 dogs. Now we want to add the animals together to say how many dogs are there, how many cows are there. So we're going to say here, when you start adding 2 dogs plus 5 cows plus 3 cows and then what, plus 7 dogs. Now look at this. Obviously you can see that we are allowed to bring similar things together, so I'm going to take this together. So I'll say 2 dogs plus 7 dogs, you see. Then in the center here I've got plus 5 cows plus 3 cows, see that. Then equal to, now I add the dogs together, see D means dog. 2 plus 7, I've got 9 dogs plus 5 plus 3, I've got 8 cows. Then that's what I have. When I'm adding them together, I'll say I've got 9 dogs and 8 cows. I don't need to do anything further, because now if I add 9 and 8, I'm going to get 17 what? Dogs cow. You can't have that. There is no animal called dogs cow. So the answer here is 9 dogs and 8 cows. It's done. Don't force it. Nothing you can do. Addition and subtraction, that's where it ends. Are you with me? And then it talks about the negative sign, to be very sensitive of the negative sign. For example, if I say 2x and then plus 5y and then I say minus 3x and then minus 8y, it's the same thing I told you about the dogs and the cows. You bring things that are similar together. For example, when you rearrange, look at this. This is my x's and this is my y's. They need to be rearranged so that I bring them together. So what will I have? I will have 2x, see that, minus 3x. When I move it with its sign. So it is minus 3, so it goes with minus 3x. Then I've got that, which is plus 5y. And then I've got that one with the sign is minus 8y. Alright, then equal to, your calculator will do the work. Look at this stuff first. This is my x, this is my x. Now, remember we talked about the coefficient, which is the number before x. What are you seeing? Here I'm seeing 2, and then the other one, I'm not seeing 3. What is it? It's not 3, but it's minus 3. So you take a calculator and you say 2 minus 3. That's what you do. 2 minus 3. What you get? Minus 1. That's what you write here to say my answer here is minus 1. But don't forget the variable. The variable was x. You see? You do the same thing. The other side you have got y and y. Once the variables are the same, you focus on 5 minus 8. That's what you do on the calculator. So when you say 5 minus 8, take a calculator right now, and then you do 5 minus 8. Remember, it's very important for you to practice so that you can see how it works. 5 minus 8 and give what? Negative 3. Not just 3, but it's negative 3. Okay, let me maintain my pen there. It's minus 3, but look at this. Minus 3, what was the variable? It was y. From here, leave it like that. You can't do anything between what? X, and you can't do anything between y. Are you with me? So that is how you approach these. Are you with me? So guys, join me now in the next lesson, whereby I'm going to continue with this part. But now what are we going to focus on? We're going to focus on division, very important, as well as the most important one, very, very important in the next lesson, is multiplication. I show you now how to multiply these. And remember, I told you, if you are subscribed, it's easier for you to see this lesson coming. So all this will be what I start showing you. And remember, this is the foundation. I'm laying a good foundation for you, so that when we start attempting the previous papers, you will see how easy it is to face that final exam. I want you to get a distinction, a good mark, so that even your friends will be very envious of you. Your parents will just feel so proud of you. That's what I want to give to you. If this is what you want to achieve at the end of the year, stick to this channel, become a part of this channel, and I guarantee you, you will never go wrong. We've come to the end of our first lesson. Thank you.